Manchester Velodrome, and behind me is a massive crowd waiting for the revolution. Christmas is done with, New Year's is over. It's now time to find out who's still on form, what impact the transfer season has had, and who's going to show this sellout crowd what they've got. 2 rounds down, 2 rounds to go, and it's still anyone's title. Welcome to the revolution. I'm very lucky to be joined by someone who won 4 gold medals in the Paralympics, Dame Sarah Storey. Sarah, it's lovely to have you here on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Now, it seems so strange to say that the Paralympics were last year. It feels like yesterday, doesn't it?
I know, we crammed so much into 2012 and now the year's all over. It's hard to believe.
You definitely crammed a lot in. You had an epic year, to say the least, topped off by becoming a dame. I want to know, how did you manage to keep that a secret for 4 weeks?
It was pretty hard, but we knew we had the baby news to distract people in between, so it was all right.
It's very good indeed. Now tonight, what are you most looking forward to?
Well, everything really. We've not got a huge amount of racing going on at the moment, so the track meetings here are really exciting. So it'd be good to see the head-to-heads and see how the leaderboard changes.
Absolutely. Now, of course, it's round 3 of the series, and so far there's been a lot of excitement. Last time we saw some amazing women's racing from Voss and Armitstead that complemented the men's championship. In the 5-race men's championship, Ed Clancy continued his dominance of the flying lap, just beating fellow Olympic gold medalist Stephen Berg. But the story of the night was Team Sky starting to fight back. Their riders won 3 out of the 5 races to climb up to 4th position on the leaderboard. So that leaves the standings looking like this. Rafa Condor JLT are in the lead with 125 points, ahead of the German team Rudy Project, who are 25 points behind. Now, before we kick off, let's have a quick reminder of how the championship works. The Revolution has 12 teams who will compete over a series of 4 meetings. At each meeting, they will race the same 5 races, earning 12 points for a win. The rest is simple. The team at the end with the most points wins. Now tonight we've had lots of chops and changes with transfers and teams. Will that affect the racing, do you think?
Well, I don't think it'll affect the riders too much. They're used to working with lots of different people, but it could well affect the championship and the points at the end of the night.
Right, now of course we've got a great bill of men's sprinting coming up, but first let's kick off with a flying lap and join our commentators Anthony McCrossan and Rob Hales.
First rider up on the track then, this is the man from Face Partnership, the Swiss rider Tristan Margay.
And Margay, a young rider, 19 years of age, more of a points and a scratch rider, but should have good form for this.
Heading up towards the line now, 13.912, a good performance from Tristan Margay, beating the 14-second barrier and going top of the leaderboard. Now we're on to a rider who is making a transition from sprinting and onto an endurance event. This is Ross Edgar.
Yeah, Ross Edgar, the Olympic silver medalist from Beijing in the keirin behind Sir Chris Hoy. So if he can do a performance here tonight, he's certainly a rider to do that.
So he's racing to the line now. He beats the time of Margay, 13.541, a great performance from Ross Edgar. Up on the track then, a rider who is well known for his performances on the road, the young British rider Adam Blythe, riding tonight for WD-40.
Yeah, Blythe, he's fresh from his road training, getting ready for this year's road season. So how are his track legs tonight? Well,
he's been riding a 6 days, 14.397. He won't be too happy with that. So Adam Blythe winding down now as we move on now to the next rider up on the track, riding for Max Gear Racing. This is Adam Duggleby.
Now Adam Duggleby is normally a rider who likes this sort of event. He's fast, he doesn't ride much internationally, but on the local scene he's one of the boys.
He looks like he's rocking and rolling a little bit, maybe too big a gear, hits the line in 14.814, still the fastest time. Ross Edgar, 13.541. Up on the track now then, the next rider to go, and this is Franco Marvuli, a medalist in the Olympic Games previously and a former world track champion.
Yeah, Marvuli, normally a scratch and a Madison rider. He's been in the middle of his 6-day season, so how are his legs at the moment? Probably a little bit tired.
14.633 for Marvuli, so still top of the leaderboard is Ross Edgar. Who is going to topple him? Marvuli shakes his head. Well, here we go. Pete Kennaugh up on the track.
Pete here trying to whip the crowd up. He's a fantastic road rider, obviously Olympic team pursuit champion from London back in the summer.
Well, Pete Kennaugh now, he's got the crowd going, so can he now translate the support he's got in this velodrome into speed on the track?
I know he's in the middle of a big roadblock, so this event will probably struggle a little bit. He's got good form, but has he got the track speed?
You can see him really trying to get as much of the speed out as he can. That elbow's going all over the place. 14.457, you are right, Rob. Didn't quite translate to speed, but he'll have stamina, I'm sure, later on tonight. Our next rider up on the track is riding for Ruler, and this is the Belgian rider, Jasper de Bust.
And Jasper here is a great track rider, young rider. So he needs to come out here and try and gain experience. Has he got the speed tonight?
Hits the line 14.090, just outside that magic marker. Ross Edgar still the leader, 13.541, as we see the German rider Marcel Kautz take to the track.
Quick rider Kautz, 4 times German Madison champion, along with Robert Bench, who he's riding with here tonight.
Well, he's looking good as he heads now to the line. 13.798, just behind the time of Ross Edgar. And Edgar still top of the leaderboard, but Kautz went close. Now we move on to the man who's dominated this event in the last 2 rounds. His fastest time so far, 13.009. This is Ed Clancy.
Now, has he got the speed in him to beat the former sprinter and current leader, Ross Edgar?
Hits the line, 13.160. Clancy takes the hat-trick of victories in the flying lap. A great performance.
Ed Clancy really does like to show himself off to this crowd.
13.160, your 3rd victory in the flying lap. How's it feel?
Yeah, good. It's a good event for me, obviously, and nonetheless, it's nice to get it under your belt. You know, your first event of the evening with a little win, and carry a few points on for the rest of the evening. So yeah, it's a good start.
Well, it really was a great start for Ed Clancy, who continues his dominance of the flying lap, winning with a time of 13.160 seconds. Well, another fantastic flying lap for Ed Clancy. 3 in a row. That's a hat-trick, Sarah.
He'd have to buy the beer in cricket.
He would. Now, the flying lap is a fairly new race, isn't it? It's one we'd normally see in an Omnium. Is it one that you've done?
I've not raced the flying lap, but it's a very good training tool. So team pursuiters will use it for leg speed. You'll use it for the standing 500 for the 2nd lap, and then obviously the sprinters will use it because they have to do a flying 200 in competition.
Now that answers a lot of questions. And talking of questions, all week we've been asking for people to send tweets to you. I've got one here. This is from Alison Brett, and she says, which medal means the most to you and why?
Oh my goodness. It's like asking someone to choose between their children. Every single medal means so much to me in different ways. They've all got a great story behind them. Can't choose.
We've got another one from John Turner, and he says, no questions, just a thank you for doing us proud.
Oh, that's so lovely. Thank you, Don.
Very nice. Now make sure you keep in touch with us, send us a tweet, let us know what you think of the racing tonight, and join us after the break when we've got some big names in the men's sprinting. Welcome back to the Revolution. Now tonight we have a men's sprint competition alongside the championship, and Sarah, we've got some fantastic names, haven't we?
We certainly have. We've got Olympic team sprint champion Philipp Heinz, and the man with the massive thighs from Germany, Robert Forstermann.
You certainly can't miss those thighs. Now you yourself, you're more of an endurance athlete, but your husband Barney's a sprinter. Does he have to do different training to you?
Yeah, definitely. The sprint training is based on power and speed, whereas out on the road are the endurance riders. We need to be able to suffer over a longer period and at high power. So yeah, they're in the gym a lot and doing lots of erg work in the lab. and we're out on the roads climbing hills.
Now, of course, we've all marvelled over the speed of Olympians such as Chris Hoy, but earlier I spoke to some of the sprinters from tonight's racing to find out what makes them so different. When it comes to the sprints, it's all down to speed and power. Of course, there are a few tactics in there as well, but we'll skip that part and get straight to those thighs. We know you're fast, but just how fast are you?
My maximum speed is 80 kilometers per hour, so it's very, very fast.
The top speed I've ever hit was 81 km/h.
76 or 77 maybe, when I feel very good.
And how does it feel when you're going that fast?
It feels completely crazy.
It just feels incredible when you get in the banking and the pressure comes.
So you've just gone through that finish line. How do you feel then? Are you exhausted, in pain?
You can't feel the pain straight away. 20 seconds after, it just kicks in and then your legs are just exploding. Just feel sick as well.
And how hard do you have to train? Is it pretty hardcore?
I mean, it's a full-time job. It's 5 days a week, and even when you're 2 days off, you're still on the road.
You can see it on my eye. 2 days ago I trained too hard, so it's a little bit bloody.
Why do you need to be so powerful?
It's all about getting off the mark really quickly, so it's developing that torque on the bike, so you need to spend hours in the gym developing the muscle and then translating that onto something that you can actually utilise on the bike.
Talking of the legs, you all have very good thighs. Are there any disadvantages?
Oh yeah, because every time to work, it's very difficult.
And do you know how big they are?
Very, very big. Yeah, I don't know in inch, but in Germany it's 73 centimeters.
Well, we can find out. I have a tape measure with me here. Can I measure them?
Yeah.
Yes, here we go. Wow, a whopping 28 inches. Incredible. Tonight the sprinters will be racing a team sprint, a match sprint and the keirin. As you can see, the Derni's here and all ready to go. Thankfully, I won't be riding it. Now let's hand over to our commentators.
The final of the match sprint. These two riders have fought their way through the various rounds, and now we have Callum Skinner in the Great Britain colours there at the front, and the Frenchman Francois Pervis. This is going to be a straight-out sprint for the line between these two to decide who takes the Revolution Championship of the sprint tonight.
Callum Skinner just coming back into form. Broke his collarbone earlier on in the winter at the Scottish National Championships. Actually, he threw himself off the track in the well of the track, about where he is now, up in Glasgow on the Sir Chris Hoy velodrome, and unfortunately broke his collarbone. He was down on the floor for quite a while, but he seems to be coming back, and he's got himself through to the final, so he's certainly, his form's coming on a lot better than it was a few weeks ago.
The final of Revolution will be in that Sir Chris Hoy velodrome. These two riders starting to move a little bit quicker, but we always get asked, Rob, why do they do this? Why are they not just going to sprint flat out for 3 laps, and what are the tactics involved in this style of racing?
Yeah, it certainly looks different to track and field, where each rider is in their lanes. Whereas in cycling, obviously, we get a lot of slipstreaming and drafting, and if you're the rider behind, so Pervis here, the French rider, once they get up to speed, if he stays in that position, he'll be saving anything up to 30–35% of his energy. So if you want to lead out from the front, you need to make sure you know exactly what you're doing. Otherwise, the rider's just going to sit on your wheel, get to the last bank and come round you, and thank you very much.
Here we go then. They're going to hear the bell. That red line down the towards the bottom of the track is called the sprinters line. And now Callum Skinner is inside it as he starts to accelerate hard. Round the top of the banking there, round towards the finish line. Pervis takes it. The time is a fast 10.662, but it's the Frenchman who beats Callum Skinner, and he takes a very, very well-deserved victory here in the Revolution match sprint. 2 heats of the team sprint. We join this one with 2 laps to go. It's Forsterman at the bottom right for the All-Stars, the man with the thighs, Ed Clancy at the top left there. 2 riders left on the track now for Great Britain and the All-Stars. It is Oliver against Crampton.
And Crampton in the bottom right-hand side of the screen here for the All-Stars looks to be taking the lead, and he does.
Great Britain top left against France. Now these two teams should go quickly. And in these squads, we do have two riders who rode the Olympic Games. It is Philipp Hines leading off for Great Britain, and the last man for France is Dalmeida, who took the silver medal in London.
Callum Skinner really is trying to hang in on the back there for Great Britain. I think he's probably struggling a little bit from his previous sprint round, but he's on the wheel now, and Mahdi takes him through to the bell.
Two riders left on the track then. Callum Skinner against Dalmeida, who's looking strong.
He is looking strong. France going so quick. It's going to be tight though. But here he comes, 0-2-5, the victory for France.
It's first time for Julien come here. He's very happy, very impressive for many public, many fans. And this organization, perfect. Every time same perfect organization. We're very happy to come here.
We've had some magnificent sprinting in individual events and in the team sprint so far tonight at Revolution. Now it's all about the keirin, the race where the 6 riders line up behind the Derny bike over 8 laps of the track. The pace gets wound up from 25 kilometers an hour up to about 50 kilometers an hour. 2.5 laps from the end, the Derny bike peels off, and then it's a fight for the finish.
Yeah, the Derny bike here is here just to set pace, and the riders jostle for positions. Unfortunately, the UCI have clamped down the regulations the last few years, and we don't see so much headbutting and fisticuffs, which is a great shame, I think. But yeah, it's a lot more straight line sprinting these days, which isn't so good to watch. A lot better to ride though, I'm sure.
I'm sure. Well, these guys are big, bulky guys. We've seen Robert Forsterman, who's sitting there in first wheel behind the Derny bike with the massive thighs. Not a lot of room on the track when these guys go alongside each other, taking up quite a lot of space.
And the smallest guy in the field here with the biggest legs though, he's quite short but he's pretty wide, isn't he, Forsterman, with those thighs. Crampton stuck in the wheel there in the blue, he's ready to pounce. Everybody lining up. You cannot afford to take your eye off anybody in the closing stages of this race.
Because, Rob, the pace gets up to 50 kilometers an hour, we've heard these guys talk about them hitting top speeds of between 70 and 80 kilometers an hour. They've really got to use that Derny bike speed to then accelerate hard off it, haven't they?
They really do. It's all about tactics and how you play your different tactics. Here you can see Crampton in second place. He's just letting the wheels go, and what that means is if he sees someone trying to come from around the back, he's got room to manoeuvre. He's given himself room to run up the back of Forsterman there and play with the slipstream in front of him. As we see here, one of the riders is at Rotherham for GB, starting to move up now into second place, and Crampton's got himself out the back as Pervis takes up the front there from France. Forsterman's still fighting for that second position.
Oh, it's a little bit dicey in here now as the British rider Lewis Oliver hits the front. The bell goes. He's going to lead out. He opens up a little bit of a gap on the Frenchman. Pervis trying to get in his slipstream. Forsterman right on the wheel. He's trying to go around the outside, but it's Pervis who's driving all the way to the finish. Pervis takes a victory, and that's a hat-trick of wins for France in the sprinting tonight. Pervis happy with that.
Francois Pervis of France, the troisième victoire ce soir. How does it feel?
Very good. I'm very happy because I win all. And the keirin, it's always difficult because you need to have a very good feeling everywhere. And I have very good feeling tonight. And I win, and it's perfect. Perfect night.
Well, that was some seriously fast sprinting. Make sure you join us after the break when we've got loads more races in the Elite Championship. Welcome back. We're here again with the Elite Men's Championship, and just as a reminder, after round one, Rafa Condor JLT keep the lead after the flying lap. Now next we've got the elimination. Last time, of course, Luke Rowe won it, but he's not racing tonight, so who do you think might have the edge?
Well, Russ Downing was second last time, so he's in the field tonight, so he'll always be one to look out for. And this time, quite interesting, it's Ross Edgar's first revolution as an endurance rider. So with his sprint background, he could be one to watch, especially where you need to do those on-off sprints to kind of keep in the race. And of course, it's Adam Blythe's here tonight as well, and he's got a huge engine, so expect to see him somewhere near the front.
Very good predictions there. We'll see how it all pans out. First, let's find out how the elimination works.
I guess the elimination race is pretty much what it sounds like. The last guy in the bunch gets eliminated every lap, and eventually there's just 2 guys left for the sprint at the end.
There's a lot of different tactics.
Strong riders like to ride it from the front. The best place I find is like second or third wheel, and then you keep, obviously riders come over the top of you.
It's almost like a washing machine, you know, riders get into second wheel, then they go backwards and they come forward around the outside.
You really need to have your head in the swivel for the whole of the event.
It's a bit embarrassing if you're first eliminated. You never want to be first eliminated.
Sometimes it can be just because you're not very good, or sometimes it can be just because you're in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Sometimes you don't know you're eliminated because racing is that close.
It's also, you know, notoriously dangerous, you know, because nobody wants to be on the front to push the wind, and nobody wants to be on the back because they're going to get eliminated. So everyone's sort of fighting for that middle ground.
The devil takes the hindmost is what it's originally called.
Basically, the idea is that every time across the line, the devil will take the last rider and take him down into hell.
We join the elimination race with 12 riders left on the track, and Robert Bench is the rider who has just been eliminated for Rudy Project. 11 riders now left to fight out this race.
Yeah, Bench not looking too happy there that he was called out. He got caught napping at the bottom of the track. Positioning so important.
Here we are getting a rider's eye view of what it's like just to be in the centre of the group as we race up to the line again. Who's going to be eliminated? And this time, one more rider taken out of the group. It's Moreno de Pau of Face Partnership.
Yeah, just wasn't able to get over the riders there on the finishing straight. As we're back with the rider cam, you can really see how close the riders are. Russell Downing there in the blue, he's just got a rider caught underneath him, and it's Murray Mint, Tom Murray himself.
Tom Murray signed for a new team, Metal Tech, for the road season, riding of course for Ruler, but he's out. Back here you can see just the jostling that goes on as Russ Downing tries to get past, but he is eliminated now, the man from NetApp Endura in blue.
Yeah, his tactics paid off for a few laps, but he just started to run out of legs there, as we see Ed Clancy now in the black going over the top of everyone, making sure he's not stuck at the back, and he's got a rider there underneath him.
Jacob Scott eliminated that time. Ed Clancy looks pretty comfortable at the moment, doesn't he, as he just rides around the track, now and then just overtaking a rider, making sure that he gets through to the final couple.
Yeah, he's got the strength at the moment. All he's doing, he's sitting at the back, he's nicely tucked in the slipstream, and all he has to do is get up alongside the riders. Here he comes over the top of Franco Marvuli, the Swiss rider, and just keep them underneath you and make sure that you get them nipped out. And there you go, the lead rider there from WD-40, George Atkins there gets himself out.
So George Atkins eliminated that time. We have got 4 riders left on the track. Marvuli, John Mould, Adam Blythe and Ed Clancy. Who's going to win this one? Clancy sneaks through there and gets rid of Adam Blythe of WD-40. 3 riders left.
Yeah, Blythe there was leading out, and as they came into the home straight, the riders just fanned out around him and put him out the back. Here's Clancy, starts to stick the elbows in. Bit of showboat in there. Good riding there though by Clancy. Got himself into the final sprint here.
John Mould then he's not happy with that, is he? John Mould thought he'd sneak through. The 2 riders left on the track then to fight it out. Ed Clancy at the front and the Swiss rider Franco Marvuli. Here's the onboard camera of Ed Clancy as he accelerates now to try and get rid of Marvuli.
And here we can see Clancy, yeah, he's got the strength, he's got the speed. Marvuli there, the Swiss rider, great rider, former Olympic medalist and world champion, just doesn't have the speed.
The crowd enjoyed that one. Clancy takes the elimination race.
Hey Clancy, back on the podium again. You make it look so easy. How did that go?
It was a funny race. We didn't have much time between the lap and that. and I didn't have time to change my gear, and I was on 108-inch gear, which might not mean a lot to a lot of people. It was big gear, too big for that, and I really just kind of hoping for the best. I just sort of stayed pinned on the black line, sort of kept my nose out of the wind and tried to avoid many like accelerations because it's such big gear. It was nice in the wheels, but it was like having your car in 5th gear. You know, you had no go. Like, you know, I needed to drop it down a couple of gears, and it was good. And then I sort of got to like the last 5 or 6 riders, and then I was like, hey, we can still win this. And then it was just a case of just trying to pick off a couple of riders from the back. And then once we came down to the sprint, Francois Pervis is a fast guy, but I was quite fresh going into it, so no, it was good.
Back-to-back wins for Olympic champion Ed Clancy, but now let's take a look at a thrilling points race.
3 races down, 24 riders up on the track, all 12 teams represented by their 2 riders. And remember, the points race, 10 kilometres, 40 laps on the track, sprints every 10 laps. And if you take a lap, you get 10 extra bonus points.
Team tactics, how are they going to play in this race tonight? Obviously 2 riders per team, so normally we will see 1 dedicated rider for the competition and 1 teammate who will do a lot of the donkey work for them, lead them out in the sprints and make sure they stay in position. Ed Clancy has been performing extremely well tonight, and Jimmy Mack, James McCallum there, just swings up the top of the track. He's there riding for Rafa Condor along with Ed Clancy. Marvuli just swings up. Each of these riders just taking it in turns, half a lap or so on the front. Robert Banks just looks over and swings up.
So the pace quite steady now as these riders just get into this. It's been some hard, explosive racing so far, and now it's all about these intermediate sprints. And we've heard from the riders, it really takes a lot out of you. But now we've got the first move, and it is the young rider from Team Sky, the Olympic gold medalist, and it's Peter Kennaugh from the Isle of Man, and he accelerates away.
Yeah, young Pete, he's made the first move from the bottom of the track. Everybody was riding, just starting to get a nice tempo going, trying to get this race underway, and Pete took them a little bit by surprise there at the bottom of the track, and so far nobody has taken up the chase.
He's one of the young riders from the Isle of Man who's come out of that island at the same time as Mark Cavendish and other young riders like Johnny Bellis, and at the same time they produced so many of these young talented riders who've made it onto Great Britain teams, and now they've encouraged many more young cyclists to take up the sport on the Isle of Man.
They really have. I mean, other than the weather, I think it's such a fantastic place to train, and Mark Cavendish always loves it. His eyes light up when he goes back to the island. The training there, the roads and the camaraderie between the riders is fantastic, and it really does help with these riders. And they've had such a good group come out of the island, and Pete here is certainly one of them, and he really is pushing on tonight, isn't he? Really is pleasing the crowd here. He's got good form. He's in the middle of a big training block. He's been in Mallorca with Team Sky, so he's pretty tired, but he seems to have good legs still.
Look at that. Kennaugh really now is fully committed, and he's accelerated all the time, and the bunch, the peloton, have not really gone with this move, and Kennaugh steadily is starting to take a big distance here, and he's in danger of actually lapping the field. Kennaugh with the flash bulbs of the photographers in his eyes there, as he now can see the peloton in front of him.
Yeah, and he's only about a quarter of a lap, not even that now, behind the peloton. And once you see the guys there in front of you, that really does spur you on physically as well. You actually get into the slipstream, that bunch pushing a big hole in the wind in front of you. And there he is, you can really see him, his tongue's hanging out. It's quite desperate now for young Pete at the moment. Is he going to get on there?
Well, how he crosses the line, and he's actually ridden an intelligent race there, because he takes the first sprint points of the night and goes onto the back of the group. Russell Downing took second, Tom Murray took third, but the story there is Kennaugh has taken a lap.
Yep, Pete, all he can do now is sit in and recover and see what happens. As we can see here, the German riders, Robert Bench here on the lead out here for his teammate, doing the work, teamwork together.
As they race round now to the second sprint, Pete Kennaugh has taken the lap as they race to the line there. That was close. It was Jasper de Bust who took 5 points. Kaltsabrudi Project in second place. And Kennaugh, sitting back in the group, is still the leader, having taken those 10 bonus points. So 5 riders just off the front of the group here. But it looks like one of the riders from WD-40 was looking to close the gap. They don't want anyone else to lap this field.
Yeah, it's getting late on in the evening now, and some of the riders are starting to get a little bit tired, but they're all trying to stay in the wheel. And here's another rider off the front again. Is it young Pete Kennaugh yet again?
Well, he's certainly got the bit between his teeth tonight as he accelerates hard. It was a perfect moment. Ed Clancy swung right up the track, and Kennaugh looked and accelerated hard, and he is taking with him now 4 or 5 riders, and it's Russ Downing right on his wheel.
You're right, Anthony. It was a really good timing there for that move. The riders have been going quick, so there were a few tired legs, as we said, and he made his move. And if you're going to have a rider away with you, the man on the front at the moment, just swinging off there, Russell Downing, he's the sort of rider you want in a group. He really will help to press this move on.
Oh, he's a rider who loves to be on the attack. He really thrives in these punchy moves. So it's Pete Kennaugh on the front. Behind him looks like Moreno de Pau of Face Partnership. And looks now like we have got 6 riders. Russ Downing, look at him, right over the bike, really hunched in. He's desperately trying to stay in the wheels, but he's suffering badly.
Yeah, that really is his style. Evan Oliphant there, just swinging off for Rally GAC. He's made the move, he's read it. But Peter Kennaugh here, he's pressing on. My word, he's got such good form. In fact, it looks like he's going to go solo.
How strong is Pete Kennaugh tonight? Look at this. He's just riding top-class riders off his wheel. Kennaugh now firing all the way down the back straight, desperately trying to catch the group, and in fact he is going to lap the field for the second time. Pete Kennaugh absolutely on fire.
Well, he's got number 1 on his back, and he's the number 1 rider at the moment in this race. Really is going so well tonight. All the other riders just reveling in his wake. They just don't know what to do.
Well, this crowd have just witnessed a feat of athletic genius from Kennaugh, and he's 2 laps ahead, leading this points race. There's sprint 3 result. James McCallum took that, 5 points to him, but they're going to have no chance of beating the young rider from Team Sky.
And the riders now just getting themselves set up for this final sprint. WD-40 on the front. Adam Blythe just tucks himself in on the front there. Here he is on his riding as if he's on his hoods on the road bike in a nice aero position, comfortable position. Looks so good on that bike there, does Adam Blythe.
Adam Blythe, teammate of the world road race champion Philippe Gilbert, and one of the most talented bike riders in the world, Taylor Phinney of the United States. And yep, he looks very, very classy.
3.5 laps to go, just coming into 3 laps to go now, and Blythe still on the front. Young Pete Kennaugh, number 1 there, leader of this race in his wheel.
Oh, is he going to go for the final sprint? Is he going to take the maximum points just to finish this one off?
Well, you can see the damage that Adam Blythe's doing as we've got riders coming from the back here, and it looks like Franco Marvuli trying to get up in the action here, but Pete Kennaugh, he's timed it well at the moment, and he's going to lead it out.
Here we go. Here's the acceleration as they race round. 1 lap to go in this race that has been dominated by that man in the blue and black of Team Sky. Kennaugh is going for the final sprint. Who's going to take this one? Marvuli's moving up on the outside. They're going neck and neck for the line, and they hit it there, but Adam Yates takes it. He takes the 5 points, but there is absolutely no doubt about the winner. He punches the air.
I've been coming here since I was 16, so I wasn't really too bothered about the result at the start of the race. I just wanted something fun for the crowd to watch. That's why I decided to attack really early on. And I was just holding the bunch, and then I could hear the crowd getting louder and louder and louder, and it just sort of edged me on more and more, and then I really got into it and finally caught them. And then, yeah, just carried on going from there. Really took another lap and then contested the last sprint. So.
Wow, what a performance by Peter Kennaugh, proving he's one of Britain's top talents by lapping the field twice to take victory. I've just popped down to see our reporter Matt Stevens. He's been doing all the post-race interviews. Matt, what's the vibe been like down here?
It's been absolutely fantastic. I mean, it's electric, it really is. We've got a really wide range of talent here today. We've got a lot of young kids, teenagers, and we've got obviously Olympic champions. I had a chat with Ed Clancy, who's absolutely pumped for tonight, but a really electric atmosphere, and the crowd, they're just making it.
Absolutely they are. Now don't go anywhere, we've got loads more fantastic racing after the Welcome back. Before we look at the final race of the night, the riders took to the boards to ride a 10-kilometre scratch race. The pace was rapid from the start with lots of attacks. In the final sprint, Face Partnership's Tristan Margay clinched the victory ahead of Irishman Martin Irvine of Sky and Rally GAC's Evan Oliphant. So here's the results of the scratch race. Tristan Margay scored maximum points for Face Partnership ahead of Sky Pro Cycling Martin Irvine. So that leaves the leaderboard after 4 races tonight looking like this. Sky Pro Cycling are again the team on form with just the Madison time trial to go. They have 36 points, ahead of Howie's and WD-40 tied on 35 points. Now Sarah, in the last 2 rounds, Rafa Condor JLT have absolutely owned the Madison time trial, but this time got a bit of a change there. We've got Ed Clancy with a new teammate, James McCallum, because of course Andy Tennant isn't racing. They were quite a dream team. Do you think it will affect them?
Well, Andy Tennant's a great rider, so James McCallum has got huge shoes to fill, but James is a great rider as well. So I think it'll be interesting. Him and Ed will make a great partnership. But as with all the teams, the magic number will be that 60-second barrier, and they'll all be looking to go under that.
And in a team event, do you get used to working with the same people?
In most team events, we try and work with lots of different partners so that you get used to a change of teammate. Because if you get used to one person and then there's illness or injury and you have to change partners, and that can be detrimental. With a Madison Kilo, there's obviously the hand sling, so it's a little bit more technical. So they'll have all had to work on that a little bit, give it a bit of thought. We've got some great teams in tonight. Obviously the Team Sky team as well. Martin Irvine and Pete Kennaugh both got huge engines, a lot of speed there. And I don't think we can discount Adam Blythe and George Atkins. I think they're going to make a great team too. And obviously the Rudy Project team from Germany too. I think they'll be ones to watch as well.
There's so much going on. It'll be very interesting to see how it all pans out. Right, let's hand over to our commentators, former World Madison champion Rob Hales and Anthony McCrossan.
Thanks, Sean. Final race of the night, the Madison time trial to decide which team take the victory. This is the squad of Face Partnership with Margay and DePauw.
And DePauw here, he's going pretty well. Numbers flapping in the breeze a little bit though, but he's going to be looking for his partner any minute. He'll be looking across the track and waiting to pick him up.
Well, the fastest time we've seen so far this season, you can see there 55.249, head by Clancy and Andy Tennant. Now the hand sling happens and the rider is now on the track. DePauw making his way round.
They're going pretty well at the moment. Nice tight line at the bottom of the track as he takes the bell here into the last 12 seconds of the effort.
Racing now round the final couple of turns, looking to set the fastest time here on the track. Racing to the line now, 58.184, a fast time, but I don't think we'll see that as the winning time tonight. A change team, Clancy throws Jimmy Mack into the action, and also a change of sponsor as well. They'll be known as Rafa Condor JLT during the 2013 season.
James McCallum here at the bottom of the track, former Criterium champion, also a good solid track rider. He'll now be looking across the track. Ed Clancy will be rolling round at the top, waiting for James to come along, put his hand out and throw him into the track.
58.184, the fastest time so far from Face Partnership. Oh, and he's really having to work hard. He slings, here we are on rider cam, slings Clancy into the action.
Yeah, Clancy there, obviously rolling a little bit too quick, but also James McCullum there just starting to struggle in the back end of his turn there, that last half lap. But Clancy really has put the pace back on now. We can see him here. The speed really going quick, but is he going to be able to make up that time lost halfway through the race?
His clock stops 58.364 outside the time of face partnership. So we're going to have a new team win the Madison time trial tonight. And here we are with Team Sky. Irvine drops down to the bottom of the banking, being hand-slung by Pete Kennaugh.
Yep, top Omnium rider here from Ireland. Good pursuiter. Not a bad kilo rider either. So has he got the speed? Has Peter Kennaugh got anything left in his legs after that points race?
Those legs are going to be hurting. Martin Irvine, who of course is a 7 times national champion. He'll be riding on the road for United Healthcare, the American team in 2013. That head's going all over the place. The effort really hurting now. Oh, what handling.
Oh, that was a dodgy change there. That's not how I taught young Pete how to do a change. But I think Martin Irvine there, he just rode up into him a little bit there. Not an ideal change, but they're still going pretty quick at the moment.
The time to beat, 58.184. Kennaugh has been a darling of the crowds tonight. They've loved his performance in the points race. Racing up to the line, he does go quickest, 57.934 for Sky. 2 riders up on the track then, the final team to go. This is the Rudy Project squad. The fastest time this season, 55.249, and this is Coutts and Bench.
Bench it is, who threw Coutts here into the well of the track. As we said earlier this evening, 4 times German Madison champions, these pairings, so if they know how to do a change, this is the pair to do it.
And also they've been riding some 6 days, they've been on the boards all winter. We've seen them at Revolution all the way through. They love racing here. Let's see what sort of time they can put in. Here comes the change.
And a good solid change there. Bench takes it down the back straight, timed it well in the middle of the banking. It's always the safest and the most efficient part of the track to change, and they did that well as Bench takes the bell.
So he's got 1 lap of effort to go. Kicking on now, down the back straight, into the final couple of turns, looking to set the fastest time of the night. Races to the line. Oh, he beats the time of 55 seconds, 54.922. The crowd love it. That's the fastest time this season.
Robert Bench, Marcel Coutts, Team Rudy Project. Congratulations on a fantastic ride. Super fast tonight, smashing the stranglehold of Rafa Condor. Tell me how it went.
We are the 3rd time here, and the last time on the 2nd session we ride 56 seconds, and now we won to 55, and that's a great time. And Marcel was very strong the first 2 laps, and then I know I have to full gas, and then we are the 1st place.
Rudy Project break the magic 55-second barrier in 1st, and the team change affected Rafa Condor JLT in 5th. 3 rounds down, 1 to go. Rafa Condor JLT maintain their lead over Rudy Project race team in 2nd.
Ed Clancy, James McCullum, Rafa Condor, overall leaders. Are you going to take it all the way?
I think so. I'm pretty up for it. Next round's in Glasgow, my hometown, so I'll give it a good go.
Yeah, you better be up for it, mate. It's out of my hands now. I'm not going to be in Glasgow, so sold out Jimmy, no pressure, mate.
That's news to me, I didn't know about that.
The pressure's certainly on then, James.
Yeah, well, at least this time I'll be a bit fresher. I won't have ridden in Madison before, but yeah, hometown, home crowds, you know, I'm going to be up for it, so whoever's stepping in for this guy better be able to fill his boots, I think.
Well, it's been another exciting and action-packed night here at the Manchester Velodrome, and with so many good moments. What's been your highlight, Sarah?
Well, Ed Clancy's obviously dominated the championship with 2 wins out of a possible 5. We saw an incredibly exciting team sprint final, and then obviously that 55-second barrier got broken in the Madison Kilo. That was just amazing.
Now, of course, everyone's leaving now. That's it for the racing. We better be going. Thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been brilliant.
Before we do go, I need to remind you that, of course, the final round of the series will be held at the Sir Chris Hoy Velodrome in Glasgow, and you can catch highlights of that on the 7th of February. Meanwhile, make sure you get in contact, let us know what you think, and we'll see you then. Happy New Year from the Revolution team.